Welcome to Roundup Reddit. Today we have a collection of stories about complicated emotions and relationships in the workplace. Let's dive in. Story 1. In love with my best friend coworker while in a relationship throwaway. And I don't need a lecture on how infidelity's wrong. I'd never cheat on anyone. I feel bad if I hurt someone by accident. Doing it intentionally is way past my morality. And cheating does that. I, 31 female, have been in a relationship, 32 male, for 5 years, often on a bit of a mess. But I will always give my boyfriend credit. He's always been there for me through the worst of it. We've had ups and downs. None of us are perfect. He's fucked up and I've fucked up. But he was with me through the pandemic when I went through one of the worst emotional spikes of my life. At the time I was living with my mother, I didn't have a job and I felt so useless. I started talking to him just casually, and when I was spinning out, he helped me. He was there for me. We've had bumps of breaking up, but swiftly getting back together, but that was always family related, never us hating each other, so it's never been a total mess being together, but it's also never been the best for either of us. I know he has to put up with my spirals of self-doubt, and I have to put up with him freezing me out from his emotions. Anyway, I got laid off in 2020 due to the pandemic, but in 2021, I was hired at a new place, and I've been stable ever since, at least economically. Last year at that job, we hired a new woman, 28F, at the same position as me, and instantly we clicked. We had the exact same sense of humor, and anytime we walked by each other's desks, we dropped a stupid inside joke. We both have a deep interest in history and mythology that my boyfriend has never shown an interest in. We only work together twice a week because we both have work from home deals. But I'm finding myself getting more excited to see her each week, thinking of things to say to her. 2 months into her working there, we started hanging out outside of work, grabbing a drink with other coworkers. She casually mentioned to all of us that she's a lesbian and I'm openly bisexual. My long-term partner before my current boyfriend was a woman. But more importantly, during those times at the bar, we've really just talked and bonded in a way I haven't with my boyfriend for a long time. She asks questions and is curious about what I'm doing while he hasn't been for a long time. I'll tell her about a movie I watched, and the next time I see her, she will have watched it to give an opinion. Small things like that just make me feel seen. After work yesterday, we went to the bar, and the two of us lost track of time, to the point my boyfriend texted to ask if I was okay. I went home after that. I haven't felt this way for a long time. It's like a high school type crush. You know that rush when everything just feels right, and when you see them, you smile and can't help it. When your eyes linger a little too long because fuck, she's just divine, and I can't do anything about it at the end of the day. Because I genuinely love my boyfriend, he's been there for me, and even though we have had issues, we work through it, and he's shown that he's willing to communicate and talk to me. He's willing to be there for me through the lowest mental points in my life. What I have with my coworker feels like a fairy tale kind of love, the kind of fire and passion I've never felt myself worthy of. But what I have with my boyfriend is a devotion I never thought I deserved. I don't really need advice or anything because, for one thing, I don't think she would even have feelings for me, but also I don't think I could leave my boyfriend. And don't take this as me not loving him, I do. He's so important to me, and I love him more than I've honestly loved anyone. But I'm falling for this girl, and I'm trying to deny it, but I can't. Maybe if I verbalize to all of you, then this feeling will go away. Story 2. My best friend's husband is my co-work airman, and I don't like him. I'm a 26-wire female, and my best friend's husband, 25 male, is my co-worker in the military. I feel like it's normal to have a bias for your best friend and have the inclination to feel upset when she is upset. So when I notice things in her relationship that makes her unhappy, her husband doesn't help her out with chores, he gets jealous that she might have their pet's attention, he goes to a steak restaurant with his sister, but leaves my best friend at home who had just recently given birth to their son because infants are allowed in the restaurant. He easily gets defensive when she gets irritated that he doesn't do something she repeatedly told him to do, etc. It's hard for me to not dislike her husband as a result. And I get these infractions on his part are just the typical things couples fight over. I've bickered with my husband, but I wouldn't say to the extent they do. Now, she has her flaws as well that she brings into her relationship, but my judgment observation is that he is making her more unhappy than the other way around. That to say, it's hard for me to separate my biases against him when we're at work. Let's be clear, he and I on an unspoken level have decided we are friendly but don't like each other from back when we were in college. But I've come to a point where I rather cultivate our relationship as co-workers because of what our work in the military requires us to do. Establish camaraderie, or at the very least civility, to get the mission done. Either way, I want to preserve the long-standing friendship with her, but also maintain respect for her husband as a fellow airman. Unfortunately, sucking it up and compartmentalizing is not something I've quite mastered yet. But if any of you have advice on doing this, I'm all ears. These are my solutions. Let my friend know I don't want to be hearing these things about how she's upset because of her husband. because knowing about his personal life can affect how I work with him. Encourage my friend to make more friends aside from me because I want to maintain the professional relationship with her husband and not be distance myself, but also explain why I am to my best friend. Other solutions from y'all? Thanks. Too long didn't read. I dislike my best friend's husband, who's my coworker, airman. What do I do to maintain a good relationship with both of them, or do I have to choose? Story 3. I'm in love with my coworker, and I'm married. Hi, all the title really says everything. I've been in my relationship for 10 years, and recently one of my close coworkers left a long-term relationship. I've always had a thing for her since we started working together a couple years ago, a small crush in light of good chemistry. But now I can't get her out of my mind. I think what I'm feeling is love, or at least a strong crush. To add more layers to this onion, she recently slept in with someone I know, which made me more jealous than I'd care to admit. Almost angry, which sounds so ridiculous to even write. I'm embarrassed and note just how stupid this is given. I just got married and love my wife dearly. I'll never leave my wife for someone, especially when it's just puppy love. And she's so amazing. I know I'd lose someone who's irreplaceable for nothing but a fantasy of someone who I don't even know is genuinely compatible with. I'll never act on this, nor tell her about my feelings, my coworker or my wife. Plus, my coworker would tell me I'm a moron, even if I did. I just wanted to get this out of my mind and onto virtual paper. If people could share similar stories, it would help me not feel so alone and stupid. I'm too old for this kind of stuff. That's all. Thanks, everyone. Story 4. 19, male. In love with my friend or coworker, 19, female, who's in a 4-wire relationship. I have known V for almost 3 years now. We met at our current job, and over the last 2 years, we have become really close, and I'm afraid it's too close. Some background for me is I have had severe depression for as long as I can remember. I have a big family but have never been close with them. I have almost never felt love from any of them, and this affects me heavily today. So when I met V, we instantly clicked, and it felt like I finally had someone who cared about me. Our friendship grew, and around 6-7 months ago, I started to notice I have feelings for her. She's been dating her current boyfriend for 4 years now, so out of fear of ruining our friendship, I ignored my feelings and bottled them up until I forgot about them. Bad habit, I know. Everything seemed fine until 3 weeks ago. She recently started FaceTiming me before she went to bed, and this night was no different. She called me and we started talking about just whatever. What threw me off was I noticed she didn't have a shirt on, but was still under the covers. I knew we were close, but it never occurred to me we could be this close. I don't remember how it escalated, but she was soon showing me her breasts, and all I remember is my feelings for her began to resurface. This turned into a nightly thing and quickly turned into us showing each other our bodies almost every night. And one night, all I wanted was to just be near her. So I started testing the waters and jokingly invited her to come over to my place to watch Surf's Up. To my surprise, she was down, and next thing I know, she's at my place the next morning. This was the first time we hung out, just the two of us outside of work. I turned on the movie, and without a word being said, we just started cuddling. It just felt so right, and right then and there, I felt at peace for the first time in a long time. She reminded me what it felt like to be happy, to feel loved. We cuddled throughout the whole movie, and she even kissed my neck, which just made me even more confused. I didn't do anything back because I'm not the one who's in a 4-year relationship. We ended up hanging out again this time at her place, and again, just instantly started cuddling. She kick losing a friend? Or should I keep trying to be close to her and feel this temporary happiness high, but then feel like complete shit afterwards? Thanks in advance. Too long didn't read. I'm in love with my friend who also has feelings for me, but would rather be with her boyfriend of 4 years. With her, I feel my highest highs and my lowest lows, seed my cheek and my neck, and I decided to do the same to her. Once I did, she leaned over and kissed my lips, but immediately stopped and just said, "Oops." I left soon after and headed to work. The next night she called me NIDKY, but I ended up telling her that I had feelings for her, and she said she felt the same way and has for a while now. I was on a whole new high, and I actually felt happy. But then she told me that she still loves her boyfriend and wants to be with him. I don't think I have felt more confused in my life. Then just yesterday I went over to her place, but something just felt off. It wasn't like the other times we hung out, which was only a week ago. She didn't want to cuddle at all. It felt colder. And I noticed that she kept checking her boyfriend's location while we hung out. I lost that feeling of feeling loved and wanted. Granted, she did have a rough day the day before. I didn't stay too long and left feeling more depressed than ever, feeling rejected and subhuman. I haven't talked to her since I left yesterday, and I'm lost and confused about my feelings. On one hand, she makes me the happiest I have ever been in the last 9 years. But on the other hand, when I'm with her, I feel like a home wrecker and am just reminded that I don't think I'll ever be with her. So my question is, should I try to distance myself a bit and work on getting over her? and maybe even risk losing a friend? Or should I keep trying to be close to her and feel this temporary happiness high, but then feel like complete shit afterwards? Thanks in advance. Too long didn't read. I'm in love with my friend who also has feelings for me, but would rather be with her boyfriend of 4 years. With her, I feel my highest highs and my lowest lows. Thank you for tuning in to Roundup Reddit. If you have your own story to share, drop it in the comments below. Until next time.